we are here with Janice Lee, and Janice is another Canadian. I don't know what it is with Canadians, but they, I don't know, COVID is sending them, they need to get sparked up there in Canada.
Yep.
So
COVID
anyway,
and cold. COVID and cold. We got to have something to do.
yeah, and she's on the East Coast like me, so same time zone. I wanted to bring her on because she, in October, was not going to sign up. In fact, she wrote me an email, a long email. I was just reading it. It was very long. And she told me that she wasn't going to sign up. And it's so funny reading it back. So funny. It's so funny reading it back because the Janice of today is so different than the Janice that sent me that email in October. October 17th is what the day you sent it to me. And I think it was the 17th. Yeah. And yeah, the 17th. So, and then what you said, because I think a lot of people relate to this, you said, the first thing you said is, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone with the use of Facebook. You were so nervous when you commented last night and now sending this email, but I just have such a strong feeling to share and thank you. And and then you said, your enlightened face and smile, fun bit of silliness caught my eye when scrolling through Facebook. That's who I used to be. And so, and you felt that I was sincere and had something substantial to offer. You don't do much on Facebook, but you had been working on self-help. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I wanted to give a sense of kind of where you were, that like you recognized that you weren't being your authentic self, and that life has kind of like, was pushing that down. And I didn't know this, but when Laura was talking the other night, she said that she prayed, and I know that you prayed, that you asked God for help, and then you saw my ad. That's like crazy to me, because as I always say, the universe is listening to us, our thoughts. And if you send something, SOS or whatever, and believe that it's possible for you, and obviously you have great faith, and so you did believe that it was possible, but you just didn't know what that was. But then you were open to receiving it when it came. And so I would love for you to just introduce yourself and just tell everyone where you were then, because a lot of people might be like you.
Well, I'm Janice. Hi, everybody. I am 61 years old, and I have 3 children. My oldest are boy-girl twins, and that son now has a 4-year-old and 18-month-old twins, 3 boys. And so I'm a grandma. I have a younger son who's 4 years younger than them. So I've been an empty nester for 6 years, and I am married. I live on a small farm. I grew up on a farm and have lived on a farm all my life. We have a small farm just northeast of Toronto, about 50 miles. I am recently retired in the summer, a planned retirement, and to help look after my in-laws whose health concerns were, I was the first responder because my husband travels and his sister lives so far away, and it was really becoming hectic. So we both agreed that it was time for me to retire, and I would just kind of take over that and look after myself. So long story short, it ended up that my retirement plan and my husband's retirement plan just absolutely were not on the same page, and just life in general, without going into details, just wasn't what I thought. I was so excited and heading forward, and such that by September, well, actually, I guess it was October, that if I sent you that on October 17th, I was flat out. My joy, my enthusiasm, every day I would get up with joy and optimism. And it was such that I had no feeling at all. And it scared me because I have never been like that in my life. And I had spent 5 days in bed, just faking that I was just doing stuff and then coming downstairs dressed by noon hour. I did a lot of walking, and about the praying to God, I just was crying a lot, and I prayed to God. I just said, help me. And I found on Facebook, and I really don't do that. It hasn't been in my life. And here's Lori jumping up in the air in her picture and then doing a cartwheel. And it's not your average grandma. And I am a fun grandma, except I can't hold my kids during COVID. But and I thought, she's got something that I want. And so I got in on all the replays. I was so fortunate, and I got in all the replays, and it just doing that gave me so much hope. And then, but then, of course, I'd given up a good paying job, and I felt now I have no source of income. I've lost my financial independence, and I just thought I can't justify doing this right now. And it was a lot of money in my world, and I had all these reasons for not not doing it, and yet I just wanted it. And I watched the last day with the last two video chats with the other ladies that were in her group, and I just thought, and I don't do online stuff, and I just decided after the last one, and the clock is ticking down, I just decided, no, I have to do this. Why am I not doing this? Like, it has helped me so far. I need this. I'm doing nothing else. Like, I need this. And so I just pressed that send button. I was literally shaking because I am not taking it up again. But I haven't looked back. I haven't looked back since. And you know that, Lori. And that's basically, I feel so silly about that letter, but
no, I felt that too when I did a business course that was $2,000 about 3 years ago, and I was not working my corporate job at the time, so funds were really low for me, and I was like that too. I was like nervous and nauseous. I've had all those feelings, so I totally get it because I was there. Yeah.
And I've never done a Zoom call until this, and you guys don't know how many times I have pushed something to do a chat and the screen's gone blank, but I can hear them talking, and I'm like, okay, stick with it, and I'm back. And oh my God, the stuff. But it just has been, I just had, we've learned about intuition, and there was just something brought me to you, and that got me out of bed and feeling so good. And I just thought, I want more. Like, I couldn't let you go. I wanted more, and I'm not doing anything. So being retired, right? And you limited with COVID, it was just perfect. So
yeah, and talk about a little bit, because what you are wanting to do in the world, you have quite some talents that you hadn't tapped into for a while, and you were in the medical field, so it wasn't really kind of, do you feel like kind of, I feel like now looking back that my career, well, especially as I got promoted, created a lot of misalignment in my life with my purpose, and especially what I'm doing now, very different. When I was in the lower ranks and I was working with groups and like working on teams, which is more kind of like the dynamic now, I was really lit up doing that stuff. So do you feel like kind of the direction you're going, is it very different than what you did before? How are you tapping into that?
Well, one thing that's different than before is I absolutely do not want to punch a clock ever again. If it's at all possible, I don't want to. But what I did, like, it was a small business, and I was the office manager. And so I did have interaction with the patients as well. And I love that. I love the nurturing part of it as well. And I've also done different hobbies, like I go to church, and I've taught Sunday school, and I've created creative different activities and things to make it more fun, and for the kids to learn. And I created a puppet group, a puppet troupe that's been going on now for 27 years, and black light and everything, and that was exciting. And coaching ball.
I mean, I remember you talking about your church, what you that always lit you up when you talked about. So and I always like to say, so you had your job, but you had this outlet that really lit you up, that you got all of that from, I think. So I think that really, and you that's what you remembered when you started going through the lessons. Those were the things that were coming up the most.
right. And
Yeah.
I have to say what has I hate to say it, but what hit me is that I am married to Debbie Downer. And I have found out through the different classes that we've done that, like with Alex, that he said, I need my joy and to be lit up. Um, and by going out to work or to Sunday school or the coaching or whatever, I was happy with that. But especially with COVID, and I'm past all that, um, I, I I haven't got a whole lot of joy coming in, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't hug my grandchildren. I can video chat, but
Mm-hmm.
um, so I was really, 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 really devastated with my state of being when I came to you. And um, so what I have found is that I like with Alex and like with you and all the courses, is that I really am meant to have joy and happiness, and that I really am a cheerleader, and I need to be with people, and that I love working with people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like you gave us permission when we did our affirmations, permission to just don't worry about anything. It's like the lottery. Like if you had anything you wanted, no limitations to dream. And wow, that honestly, my mind just went poof, and I can imagine, and I just had so many ideas.
Yeah.
And the the vision board,
Yeah, I wanted you to
there's
talk about that. I wanted you to talk about that because, like, so I have this vision board workshop that is where I teach people the right way to do vision boards because there's a wrong way to do it and an incorrect way, and the difference between goals and wishes, which is kind of important. Like visions should be like these dreams, and goals are a little bit more concrete. But anyways, I get into that in the workshop, but I use this free software that I like because I don't want anything to be extra, right? So I was showed them. I did, this little, uh, tutorial, and Janice comes back and talk about like obstacles. So I was like, let's find our way around it. So she had an old computer that wasn't compatible with the software, and but what she did is she pulled out a sheet of paper, and it was what she produced on that piece of paper was jaw dropping for the rest of us. She posted it in the Facebook group in the community. And oh my gosh, it was like better than anything we could have done in Pickle. So yeah. So do you started to talk about that, but I interjected, sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what happens with Lori and I, because I go off on tangents and then she'll go off and we'll just come back. And it's great. And Lori will hear something and whatever we say, that's we talk about a coach too. But anyway, doing this vision boarding, I said, is it okay if I do this? And you said, sure. And I showed her or whatever. I could not believe, I used to be creative. And to put this in perspective, is about a year ago, my youngest son said to me, Mom, why don't you draw anymore? You don't make anything. You don't craft or do anything. And I said to him, honey, my heart just isn't in it. You have to be in the right headspace or heart space to feel it. And I said, I just haven't felt it. And that is so sad. And but I couldn't even doodle anything. I just didn't feel like it. And we did, and this is the thing, Lori's classes, each module builds towards the next. And if you do one, then you're ready for the next. And you need this one to get to the next to be successful with each one. So when we did the vision board, I couldn't believe, honestly, could not believe what came out. And it was full of all my desires. And I really and it was to be honest, like wasn't planned because it was on a lined sheet of paper. And so that was so exciting. That
Mhm.
was an aha moment to me, and that is the first that I have drawn anything substantial, and to me, in at
Yeah.
least 3 years. So
Wow.
that's how long I've been struggling with subdued, emotions, suppressed
Yeah, yeah.
emotions.
Yeah, and that's part of what you wanna do going forward too. Don't you wanna illustrate books
Yeah.
and children's books?
So this
Yeah, yeah,
this used to always, when the kids were here and they were little, I love kids and I always read them stories. And I
yeah.
used to have a dream of illustrating and writing children's stories.
Uh-huh.
And so this would come back to me in leaps and bounds in the workshop,
Mhm,
things like that came back to me. But now
mhm,
that into the course, it was more substantial and it keeps coming back to me. So I really want that to be, it to me, to create characters and whatnot, it's maybe a 3-year goal, um, but I really want to do that. And
mhm.
I used to like to do the decorating and painting and stuff around here. Anyway, and hopefully, I feel like I'm going to have a bit more energy to do that, and I am
Mhm.
getting energy. You see my energy
Yeah,
coming back.
yes.
Um,
Yeah. Well, one of the things that somebody said, they're all so happy or they're all
yeah,
smiling so much, and it's
right.
like so
Right.
true. It's like this
It's true.
whole like metamorphosis of now like this cheerfulness when we get on our calls, and I'm excited for you to be, I say your senior sparked second households
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Senior squared, yeah, because now the support, I think, from those of you that have been through it are going to be super helpful for the people that are coming in, and that support is all everything. Everybody has said how much it's meant to them, to have not just my support, but you think about the coach support. You don't think necessarily about the kindred spirits that you meet along the way. um,
Right.
but let's transition into, because I did talk a little bit last night about the plan, because the Friendly Foods Workshop, I call it the Friendly Foods Workshop, but I talked about how I introduced it as a bonus and how it doesn't really seem to fit with what I do in terms of helping people find purpose. But because it's something that really helped me, and I know people, I just want people to feel better, not only inside but outside. Like, I just want them, the whole person, to shine. And when you don't feel good physically, you can, yeah, you can feel. It used to be, I worked on the physical, and then the mental. I didn't go there. Now I do the mental, and I just felt this like need to help more. And I know I was really stuck last year with my weight. And what I love about your story, it's a little bit different, because like Laura's lost 10 pounds, Kim's lost 15 pounds, and you've lost 10 pounds, but
Yep.
you stopped using your cane. Like that,
Yeah.
that is like crazy. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. And basically the gist, or if people are like, how does that work? But basically the idea is we have inflammation, and the
Right.
older we get, the more, if we're not eating the foods that are friendly to us, and we have to identify what is friendly to us and what is unfriendly to us. And it doesn't mean you have to like never eat an unfriendly food again. It just means you have to not eat it like every day. You're probably eating something. My youngest daughter, she's done it before and she's just back on it. She didn't know this the first time she was doing it. But she had baby weight. So she, with her thing is she was like 20 pounds up baby weight, and she's now lost 18 pounds.
Oh,
But she found out almond butter was causing her face to break out. Like, it's like the
oh,
simplest thing, almond butter. And it just, doing the diary, and what did I eat, and what and then the next day there's things that you do to check in with like what's telling me what, the signs that tell you whether you're reacting or not. But Janice, what happens when inflammation hits your body? It can cause autoimmune flare ups. It can cause joint pain. It can cause brain fog. Inflammation is a silent, evil uh, thing that exists, but we don't really realize it. And nobody gets told that salmon and asparagus and cauliflower are highly reactive foods, and they might be causing you inflammation. This is, you won't believe the foods that might be, and again, you might not be reactive to them. They might be fine, but you need to put on your little like research scientific hat and do this, because Like, I just tell the story because it's pretty incredible. You were telling me more about it this morning.
Well, when I came into, so I had a hip replacement 6 years ago, and as soon as I retired, I just started walking, and I was doing a lot of walking, and what ended up happening is my other knee swelled up, and then because I was favoring that knee, my right hip replacement leg, I acted up. It's so much pain. It's such that I was using a cane, and then I had lost 17 pounds, and then I went into Christmas, and my doctor was sending me for a test, and then also my doctor wanted me to go on this medication that I just, I'm not really on anything, and I just didn't want to do that. And so
Yeah.
because I also knew that the plan talked about reducing inflammation, and I knew that Kim was having success with that. So I had gained 5 pounds over Christmas. That's fine. I immediately lost it within the first 2 days of the detox on the plan. But what I noticed by day 4, I didn't have to use my cane. And I was just rubbing my leg, and I thought, what's wrong? And I noticed I just thought I had old lady legs. And I noticed that the swelling around my knee had reduced so much. It visually, like by day 5, and I showed my husband so that he could. No, so they just didn't say it's all in your head. I said, I want you to see this right now, and we're going to see how this goes. And I cannot believe how reduced I've got, like a hollow now, and it's still going down, but I can't, it's
Crazy.
visually, and I'm not using my cane, which is,
Mm,
and right now I'm not going to take the medication until,
good.
and I've only 2 weeks into the plan. But
Mm,
this started on day 4 that I
that's
didn't
crazy.
have to use my cane. Day 5, I was walking down the stairs normally,
Hmm.
and it's just amazing, just amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I also want to say, Lori, that doing the plan afterwards was great because I'm an emotional eater, and my those head games, right? And so
Hmm.
by doing our affirmations and learning how to do them, and I do my affirmations morning and night, and I've got 4 different, actually 5 different sets of affirmations and different themes and things, and that has also helped me not to get out of control with my environment, and with it's helped me, okay, stay on this, you need to do this because of your health. It's just and I can do it, I am capable, and this is who I
Hmm.
want to be, this is who I desire to be. So it's all relevant, and the base you've given us, like even to go into the plan, is helping me to keep my head in the game,
Mm.
and not my husband is sitting there eating all the goodies left over, and I haven't had any
Yeah.
waves. I had a little truffle one day,
Well,
but we
well,
get to
that's
have
the other thing is you're allowed to have, like,
yeah, you
she
love
had
chocolate.
on the menu red wine and chocolate.
Yes, yes. I haven't had any. I had red wine for New Year's Eve,
Uh-huh.
but I had that before the plan. So I did the thing beforehand, the yeast,
Oh, yeah, yeah, the
acknowledgement,
test.
you have to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, so that
Right.
was my
So
problem was I had a yeast overgrowth, which I had gone to the doctor like 3 times, and they had put me on a, um, and that's just the problem. The doctors don't get the nutrition training, so they don't
mhm.
know, and she put me on, what's that starts with a P when they put you on, I forget
Prednisone
what.
when they don't know anything else. Prednisone. They just
No,
no,
well,
that's
I don't
not
think
it.
but it was something that it was something I had to wean into,
Mm.
and then I had to wean off of it, and I was like, I don't want. Oh, it was an acid reflux. It was an acid reflux,
Oh,
and I'm like, but
yes.
I don't have acid. I've had that when I was pregnant, and this is not acid reflux. It's like an alien's in my stomach. That's what it
Yeah.
felt like. Like I had little
Mm,
gremlins in there, and
mm.
finally I found this book, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's that. And they have you do this test, and yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
was very passionate about. It. I was like, I'm going to teach this. I'm going to teach this to my students
Oh,
because.
and it's awesome because it's your whole health. But it's like you said, you got to get your head in the game for everything,
Mhm.
and because you do have those blue days, and I just keep going back and trying to think positive. I just really dig into it and, meditate. I'd meditate. I do guided sleep meditations as well, but I do
Yeah.
my affirmations first before
Yeah, good
yeah,
girl. Yeah,
and I
and the
love
people who are
them. I
doing
love
that,
them.
yeah. And Janice is a good example of consistency because that's part, you built that into a routine and it's consistent. And I know because you told me recently that you were like, oh my gosh, it was like 67 days and it was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. And so you'd like
yeah,
do more, you like up level your affirmations to where you
yeah.
are. And
Yeah. I sat in on one of your first mindset new
mhm.
programs, workshops, and you're telling the ladies you have to do this for 67 days. And I'm sitting there, I'm right around that week. I'm there, and it just feels so good and just part of it. And that was an
Mhm.
epiphany for me as
Yeah,
well, the
it's so
vision boarding,
funny.
and that was an aha moment for me. It's happening. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Funny
like
because that is in the program in the course at 67 days, but you must have forgotten about it
oh
because it does
yeah,
say
maybe. Oh no, no, I did remember, but
oh,
the
okay.
reality, I wasn't counting the days until I was listening to you teaching it, and I
Right.
thought,
Yeah,
wait a minute, that's me.
yeah,
And I tried to put something on the chat, but I am so spastic. So
yeah.
my type is what is it? Healer and helper, ENFJ, and it
Mhm.
says that I am what is it? Opposed to tech. I am not a tech person at all, and
Oh,
it's why I am legitimately allowed not to be good with tech because it says
that's
that's
right.
my personality.
I think I'm an ENFJ too. I think I'm an
Yeah,
ENFJ. Okay.
yeah,
Less project management stuff I do, I think I'm P on the end. Sometimes I think I've done P. I think I'm kind of in the middle of that one. But anyways,
yeah.
all right. So many different changes. You're just such a light. You're so bubbly. I can't imagine. And it makes my heart hurt that you were in that place. And I'm so glad you
Ooh,
said yes. I'm so glad. I don't even remember what I responded to, but I never try to talk people into, it's they've got to come to their own decision and their own place to be
I
bred for
think I
that.
said at the end, please contact me when you start up again in January. Please contact me then. And you said, no worries, and it was just all. And then I just thought, why am I waiting? I think that was my intuition telling
Yeah,
me, do
yeah,
it. You need to do this. I brought you
yeah,
here. Do it.
yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
like, where would you be? Like, where would you be if you hadn't said yes?
Oh,
And
oh,
that's what I
Lori.
did my podcast episode on is like people that, and it's going to say inaction is a form of is a form of action. You think you're saying, no, I'm not going to take this action. But in fact, you're taking, you're taking action that's the wrong kind of action for what like is needed. Like you wouldn't, your soul's nudging you here. So it's all those voices in your head and the like you said is like you were given the freedom, to
Yeah,
look past that
yeah,
box
yeah,
that you were thinking of.
yeah.
And that's like if anything, I want to do a better job of letting people realize, look outside the box, look at like what the opportunities are that you can't even see by saying
Right.
yeah to
That are
that thing.
in you, that are
Yeah,
in you,
yeah,
the desires, but you
mhm,
get it out of us. Like
yeah,
you, by doing the work, you draw it out and you listen and you catch those little words and phrases and things or negative or the possibilities and just why can't you do that? What's wrong with you doing that? Things like that. It's so and to hear the interaction with the other ladies, it is valuable. It is so valuable. And
yeah,
uh you really none of us can say enough about it, and I always say you only get out of something what you put into it.
right, yes,
So I always say that,
yeah,
and if you're going to sign up, you just want to commit absolutely
yeah,
to benefit
yes,
from it. And the
yes,
other thing that I just always, that's my theme, is if we want something to change, we aren't happy with our life. And this is where I was. We're not. I am so, so sad, and it's not the way I thought my life was going to go. Um, but if we want something to change, but if we aren't willing to change, then nothing is going to change. I'm not
Mm.
making a big speech, but it's just how I feel. We have to do the work. We
Yeah.
can't change anyone else. We can only start by changing ourselves. And that has helped me so much to look at my situation and say, well, like, I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
know about that person, but I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let, I'm learning how not to let someone else's issues take the joy from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my affirmations. And
Mm-hmm.
and there's my big speech, my big
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
big
I seem to be on the horse analogy. Did I send an email about like, if you're on the fence, are you the horse that's going to stay in the pasture where it's, or are you going to go with the galloping horses where it's free? And so that just made me think, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him
right,
drink. Yeah. So that made me think of
right.
that analogy.
Yeah,
But yeah, Janet,
perfect.
they're going, drink it.
I'm such a glutton.
And I love the sound of that. Yeah. So good. So good.
I'm very open-minded, very
Yeah.
open-minded.
I love that. Yeah. You gotta be, because some of this stuff is a little, quantum
Yes,
physics stuff. So
just
thank
gotta
you so
try.
much for being here. I love you.
Thank
You're
you.
such a light in the world, and no more getting up at noon.
Oh, I know. Unless I choose to.
Yes, unless you're up
Thank
really
you.
late working on your illustrations. Yeah, you need to
Thank
keep
you.
it right. All
Thanks,
right.
Lori.
Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. Oh,
Bye.
Roxanne, I want to tell you this. Roxanne said, I turned this on late, but I'm smiling because it seems you are speaking directly to me. So much of what I've heard from Janice so far is my story.
Oh,
Yeah, I told
this
I
is
I told you
great.
you'd inspire people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Good luck, everybody.
All right.
Bye, Lori.